eBay has changed this policy and makes it so much harder now for eBay sellers to get this taken care of. Welcome to Flipping and Punching, and today is Friday. So I'm still dealing with this Funko Pop fiasco. You know, the buyer did leave me negative feedback. I'm trying to get this negative feedback removed, but eBay changed the policy on kind of how you can have it done. So that's throwing a little monkey wrench in this, but I'm still in that process. And we got about 10 orders to pull. A buyer reached out to me, asked if I could ship an item today because they need it for next week as a gift. And I figured, you know what, let's get a head start on the weekend. I got a lot of stuff coming up here. All right, so the first order we're gonna pull is this item that the buyer reached out to us to pull. They need it for next week for a birthday present. It's actually an empty box. This is green one right here. This is actually the first time we're actually selling one of these. These are like super heavy duty boxes. Van Cleef and Arpels. I think that's how it's pronounced. Don't butcher me in the comments if it's not. All right, guys, this is what it looks like. These are super high end. This is actually, I think they're used as jewelry boxes. Very heavy duty. This flips up. Usually put like a necklace or something along those lines on there. But had this listed for $49.99. Buyer reached out to me, asked if I could ship it out right away. I said I could. So for $49.99 plus shipping. All right, so next time we sold is actually another box. So Chanel boxes, guys, sell really, really well if you guys do come across them. This is the Chanel magnetic box. Both these boxes I paid $5 a piece for. I ended up selling this box for $49.99 plus shipping. I'm actually really pumped that I'm selling off these boxes here because every time I sell a box, that means I can go list a couple more. I'm trying to keep all those boxes on that one shelf, and I'm trying to price them very competitively. I got a ton in my storage right now, but I'm pretty much selling boxes almost every day, which is great. So hopefully we'll go through those pretty fast as I get those boxes listed. All right, give you guys an update on the whole patch situation. Buyer reached out to me, asked if I would do $15 per patch. I had these NFL patches listed for 20 bucks a piece. Buyer paid for 2 of the patches. Buyer didn't pay for the 3rd patch, but there's a glitch on eBay that's saying that the item was actually paid for. Instead of canceling the order, I actually decided to just ship all 3 patches to the buyer. The buyer was probably expecting all 3 of those patches to come, and at the end of the day, they get a free gift. So if you guys are curious, end up shipping out all 3 of those patches. Man, it's absolutely beautiful right now in Florida. It's not super hot, which is nice. It's probably like, I don't know, like 60 or 70 degrees outside. So it's beautiful, not hot. And I'm outside right now and there's no dinosaurs interrupting my videos, which is great. But let's pull next order. We sold 2 Funko Pops. All right, so the first Funko Pop we sold was actually an Army Funko Pop. I was at a garage sale and the guy had probably like a table of like 10 or 12. Had a table like 12 Funko Pops. We ended up making a deal for all of them. You'll see that in a video coming up. But here it is, Funko Pop Soldier. Always like to support the troops. We had those listed for $11.99 and the buyer bought it, $11.99 plus shipping. You guys know I'm a huge wrestling fan. Anytime I sell wrestling stuff, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I want to keep it for my personal collection, but I can't keep it all. I ended up picking this one up at the local flea market, package deal. I think I paid like 20 bucks. It was like buy 2, get 1 free. This is Sergeant Slaughter, limited edition, fall convention. You guys don't remember in the 80s, Sergeant Slaughter, WWF. Sergeant Slaughter was such a big part of my childhood because I was a huge WWF fan. In the early 90s, turned on the US in a storyline versus Hulk Hogan during the Desert Storm and joined the Iraqis. He was the most hated man in wrestling at that point in time, let me tell you. So we had those listed for $14.99. Buyer sent me an offer for 10 bucks. I accepted. I got 10 bucks plus shipping. Those are the wrestling fans. Do you guys remember when Sergeant Slaughter turned his back on the country? I bet you when he traveled, like he would have to look over his shoulder. People may have been waiting for him in the parking lot. Wrestling fans are absolutely nuts, especially during the 80s and 90s where they thought wrestling was still 100% real. What we do in the ring is real. You know, wrestling is predetermined, but I can't fake falling 4 feet on my back or getting body slammed. Like that's something you can't fake. I'll tell you some crazy stories. So for those that don't know, I was a pro wrestler for several years. Small towns throughout the country. I would travel all over. There's times when I'd be in like the backwoods of Georgia wrestling and it would get absolutely insane. People would find my personal social media account, send me messages. Just wait till I see you next time. I'll be waiting outside the parking lot with a baseball bat. How dare you yell at my family? I was a bad guy. I was called the Scoundrel, Rod Grimes. When me and my wife first started dating, she would actually travel with me some of the shows because during the week we both worked and on the weekends was the only time that we would be able to hang out. Well, I was starting to get booked, you know, every weekend I was getting booked at you know, different wrestling shows, 2-3 hours away from the house in Florida. It could be out of state, so I would travel all these shows. So she would drive with me sometimes to Georgia. They had the 1980 mindset where they thought what they saw was real. People would be out for blood. So for a while, I was actually heavyweight champion up in Georgia. And so I would wrestle in the main event at the very end of the night. Once the match ends, I would go in the back to change, get ready to leave. They asked one of the security guards if I could come out and take a photo with them. As they're standing there side by side, when they went to take the photo, The girl turned to swing to throw a punch at me, which I saw at the corner of my eye, ended up catching the punch, catch and turned at one time. But yeah, like you have to be very careful, man. Some of these wrestling shows are absolutely nuts. I've had stuff thrown, I've had bottles thrown at me. A lot of people are like, oh my God, that's disgusting. That just gives me reassurance that I'm doing my job. If I can get that type of emotional response out of you as a fan, that means I'm doing something right. To get you so worked up that you want to inflict bodily harm on me. So this is why I love the wrestling industry. All right, so this next item is actually gonna be a bolo for you guys. Keep an eye out for this right here. And you guys see this logo right here, Off-White? It's actually an Off-White jacket. It's called Off-White. Is actually the name of the brand. Off-White clothing can actually bring really good money. The only problem is when you guys do find it, doing a search on eBay is a pain in the ass. Imagine typing in the term Off-White. You come up with tons of shoes, you guys come up with tons of other things. So it's a little bit more difficult to actually list the item. I got this in my designer pickup, maybe had like 20 bucks into it, 20 or 40 bucks, something like that. Took a chance on it, never sold this brand before, but I did trust the person that I was buying everything from because anytime they introduced me to like a new designer brand, everything they told me has been true. So when you network with other sellers and you build up a trust with maybe like a supplier or another reseller that hooks you up with merchandise, you can take calculated risks on stuff because everything they have explained to you in the past has panned out well. So that's a relationship I have with this seller, which is really good. I had this listed for $199.99. Like I said, I was having a hard time coming up with comps on it. I had best offer on it. You know, I had a bunch of watchers. I was sending out offers around 160, 170 bucks. Buyer reached out to me, offered me 125 bucks. I had it up for a couple months and I decided to take it. So I got $125 plus shipping. I'll make like 80 bucks on it. I think I paid 40 for it. Maybe I paid 30. But hey, 125 bucks plus shipping. I'll take that all day long. All right, let me give you an update in this whole negative feedback situation. So you guys didn't see the last video. So the Funko Pop, buyer tried to return it 40 days after he purchased it. I ended up declining the return and we had 100% feedback rating up to that point. So I had to file a claim through eBay to try to get it removed. As of yesterday, it wasn't removed. What I normally do is go on Facebook and contact eBay for business. Now in the past, I would contact them, explain the situation, and they would have it removed instantly, which is great. eBay has changed their policy now. They sent me this long thing saying, hey, we have changed our policy. We are no longer allowed to remove negative feedback through the Facebook eBay for business. Just like it was on eBay, you would have to go through and wait for them to do it. It says up to 8 hours until they respond to it. We will see what happens. Part of the reason the buyer left me negative feedback because I wouldn't give them a partial refund after they couldn't return the item. Now it's actually against eBay policy to ask for a partial refund and leave negative feedback because I won't give you a partial refund. So hopefully eBay should remove that, but we will see. All right, guys. Next time we sold is actually the Sandman Volume 2. This is a very popular book to start off with. This is like the collector's edition, leather bound, absolute Sandman. Netflix actually turned that into a TV show. Because I turned the TV show, there's a lot more interest in the Sandman franchise. I got that from that massive pickup I did at the flea market with ADH Dave and Philly Flipper. I bought a massive collection of graphic novels. I should have that video up here, probably in May. I'm assuming on my Pick and Punching channel. I paid like less than $1 for that book and ended up selling it for $59.99 plus shipping. All right, so I was going through my office. I'm trying to clear up my office here to get a better workflow, but I ended up finding all these NHL sealed collector sets. It's the 1990-91 and the 91-92 series. So I'm gonna list those on eBay today. Hey, look at these two girls. There's a bed over here. This guy has stolen their bed and the cats, both dogs are afraid of the cat. So they decide to both just sleep in here together. They're super cute though. Now they're mad because I just woke them up. All right, so my ultimate goal today is to get some of these boxes cleared out. I want to add more of these to the eBay store. All these Chanel boxes I still haven't listed yet. And then these are all a stack of clothing here. My mother-in-law dropped off for me. I've had her take photos and create some drafts for me from clothing, so I'm gonna get those up on eBay. It's actually working out really well to have someone help me do listings. I love hunting for clothes, buying clothes. I love knowing that I got a good deal on something. Clothes are very challenging for me because the basics on clothing, what can sell, what can't sell, but clothing is really cool because you can take a risk on stuff sometimes, or maybe there's no comps on this one, so you buy it and you think it's gonna be good. So it's definitely it is a challenge sometimes with clothing. So that's kind of the reason why I like picking it up. But having her create these listings for me, it works out great. The days I need to edit videos, I maybe will still get some listings up just because she created a couple drafts for me. So just having to do clothing only, I handle the rest of the stuff. As I'm sitting there pulling orders, I got a $15 offer for this Louis Vuitton box. I had it listed for $24.99. Normally I would send them a counter for like $19.99 because I want to get at least 20 bucks a piece out of these. But since I'm already in the process of pulling orders, I just accepted. You know, I have multiple of these and I want to move them to clear out some space. And I only accepted the offer because I was in the middle of pulling orders and packaging. They always say timing is everything. So let me know down in the comments down below. Let me know in the comments down below. How many of you guys actually accept a lower offer on an item because you guys are in the middle of packaging an item? I've done it actually numerous times in the past because I'm already in the flow of it and I already had the package supplies out, and I was like, you know what, this is just gonna save me time later on. I'll take a little bit less money for it because the offer came in as I'm doing it. Do any of you guys do that? Am I the only one? Let me know. I want to apologize to each and every one of you guys. I know I told you I would get out our yard sale video this week. Talk about bad timing, but me and my wife, both our grandmothers, went into the hospital this past week. My grandmother had to have a pacemaker put in, and my wife's grandmother is still in the hospital. So she has to take an emergency flight to Puerto Rico to go see her grandmother. So let's cross our fingers. Hopefully this won't be the last time she sees her. But with that being said, we had a lot of stuff going on and I haven't got a chance to edit the video. So since my wife will be leaving this weekend, I will be unsupervised. So I will hit up some garage sales, and I will also try to buckle down and try to get that video edited so I can drop it next week for you guys. But I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. Don't forget, come check me out Tuesday night. I'm gonna be doing a raid train on Whatnot with the Philly Flipper. I'll be going from 6 to 7 o'clock. Links down in the description down below here. I actually have a lot of the items already preloaded, so go check it out. You can place bids on it if you want to, or just come and hang out. You don't have to buy anything. But thank you guys for all the support this channel has been getting. Make sure you guys do like and subscribe. It does help us out. Until next time, guys, make sure you guys keep flipping and punching. All right, so right when I was about to end this video, I got an email. My email went off and I checked it, and eBay actually denied my request to have this negative feedback removed. This whole situation with negative feedback on eBay is becoming more and more difficult for eBay sellers to have things removed. It's very frustrating. When the buyer is outside the regular time frame to make a claim or do stuff on eBay, and then we still get negative feedback and eBay denies the claim to remove it, is very frustrating. I just ended the video. My email went off and I actually received a notification from eBay stating that they are not going to remove my negative feedback. Let me tell you, this is very frustrating. I followed eBay policy on returns. I followed eBay policy on the time frame window, and I still get negative feedback because I wouldn't accept a return past the time frame. eBay is making it more and more difficult for us to be protected as sellers, and it's super frustrated. What I did next was I jumped on the computer, I requested a phone call. So I will say the good thing about eBay is they call me with less than 2 minutes. Got a live person on the phone, talked to them, asked if I can actually record the conversation so I can post it on here. Unfortunately, he did not give me consent. Talked to the person on the phone, I explained the situation. I said, listen, I don't understand why this is becoming becoming very difficult. After we went through the whole process, I asked, what is going on? Why is it so difficult to have feedback removed now? He said, I told him, in the past, I would go through all these different steps. And his exact words were, we used to have people on the floor that you would call, oh, I just sold on. The seller, the eBay representative said, we used to have people on the floor that you can call up and they would remove it right away in the phone. What was happening is those employees were removing feedback that shouldn't be removed. Maybe they didn't want confrontation. Maybe just felt like they were just trying to help out the sellers at that point in time, which I get. I could see that happening. So now they said that he had to file the claim again for me. He said he filed it properly, and he said that it goes to another review team. So he said that at the worst case, 48 hours, but he said that usually within like 8 to 12 hours, it would be resolved. 48 hours should be the worst case scenario, but he said you should get some type of response back today. So we will see. Yeah, super frustrating though. I'm super frustrated. He did tell me a couple things. He said that anytime that you do have that, we want to see good customer service. So make sure that you respond to the actual feedback. So if you guys don't know, if you get a negative feedback, you go in your feedback, you can actually reply to the feedback on there, which I did. I did that right away. Let's see if this gets resolved. Just when you think I'm out, you guys pull me right back in. I don't know what movie that's from, but we ended up selling a couple more things on eBay. Well, one item I actually forgot to pull, and the other item we just sold as I was talking to you guys. So let's pull those items. First one is this 1993 Terminix Avengers comic book. This is one of those holographic covers. Let me tell you, this thing is awesome. I mean, this thing screams 1990s, let me tell you. But I sent this in. It's not really that big of a key book, but I sent it in because it looked perfect condition. It is a 9.8. I paid $30 to have it graded. It came in a massive collection, so I have like I probably have like 10 cents in the comic book. Had it listed for $119.99. Buyer sent me an offer for $90 and I accepted. So I got $90 plus shipping. This next comic book actually kind of has a little special place in my heart not because I'm a big fan of it. This is actually one of the first comic books I actually sent in to get graded when I originally sent comic books in. This is from 1989. This is a 9.8. This is the Batman number 436. The original story about the original Robin, which is Dick Grayson, is actually retold in this. Yeah, it's the first appearance of Tim Drake. So, which is like going to be the new Robin. This is 9.8. I think I had this like well overpriced. I think I had it listed for like $260, $270. At one point in time, this was a super hot book. And then the market kind of cooled off and I just never changed the price. But a buyer just sent me an offer for $229.99 plus shipping. I accepted. So I got $230 plus shipping. And I have about $35 into this of pressing, the cost of the book, and to get it graded. So great turnaround. So make sure you guys do like and subscribe. It does help us out. Until next time, guys, make sure you guys keep flipping and punching.